Today's strange adventure covers one of my least and most favourite topics, DMs that give you challenges and not thinking about any possible solution, which is why today's story is going to be about frustration, just a little bit, because in those occasions when we have been set challenges that the DM has no idea how we're going to get through it, they just think of a fun thing for us to do. That is one of my most rewarding feelings of going, well, I guess I could use this ability, or I could use these abilities in tandem. That's creative role-playing that I adore. So, let's continue the Chaos Ensues saga, where we have just retrieved all of the goodies from the ethereal realm and have set on our way. What happens upon the caravan, I guess it's called a caravan of merchant vessels that we are part of? I think we're kind of hiding in it because us and our group are being hunted by the Watcher, the evil god that we have very little general knowledge about, apart from the fact that they have the ability to control people and events, and a lot of conspiracies are set against us. And that is why it is extremely suspicious when in front of the caravan is a tree fallen on the road. Doubly suspicious when we think about the fact that there are no trees here. This is a trap. Barbossa, the barbarian, flexes his muscles, goes forward to possibly clear the way, at which point, out of the ground, skeletal hands burst, and we have to start fighting. Apart from the fact that Bessie's just like, as charge, destroy the evil undead, they are unholy. Valeria, goddess of the hearth, will protect us. At which point everyone charges because they're all, I think they are all -1 modifiers to intelligence, apart from the wizard, who wasn't there this session, and me, who is trying to take the most advantage as a thief of this group of idiots. So they charge off. Me and Maximilian Watzerus decide to protect the caravan, and so take pot shots at these evil skeletons from afar. At which point, more of these things start to crawl out of the ground, and I'm like, okay, Bessie and Barbossa have this covered, but they're going to end up attacking the caravan if we don't do something. So, as a thief and a master trap expert, I take a look at this masterfully placed big log, because that's what it is. Just put there, badly disguised, but I'm like, someone must have put it there, they must have got it there somehow, so there is a way of getting it out. There are more mounds of dirt, reasonably fresh, dug into the road. I look at what's happening on this road and realise every time one of the other players does something that seems to be incredibly loud, like shout, or smash a skeleton's head off, or reduce them to clattering bones, another one plunges? No, that's the wrong way. Emerges from the floor, from the road. So I tell all of my friends, shh, every time we do this, there's more come. And Bessie, bless her heart, is like, we must be quiet. Smash with mace. Smash with mace. I'm like, okay, let's just move on. So I kick this log, make it roll out of the way, and just pop back to help the defense of this caravan. Multiple skeletons and zombies encroaching. I think they're just skeletons, but just skeletons with cleavers and horrible looking things encroaching on the caravan. The guards not looking particularly well armed. Our warrior friend Guinness is just kind of sat there like, I've seen weirder things, I can deal with this. At which point Barbossa, with his immense strength, his one redeeming feature, picks up this giant log and starts spinning, smashing skeleton after skeleton after skeleton, and realizing that it is very difficult to stop when, like, quadruple your weight's worth in tree is hurtling at incredibly high speeds around you. So he becomes dizzy. It doesn't really do much for the rest of the thing, ending up with me and Maximilian Hammerus trying to defend each other from various skeletons. He helps me. I get cornered, and he and his adorable pet mouse Pinky arrive on the scene, kill a couple of skeletons, free me to start stopping the final skeleton with my long-range knife throwing. I don't want to be in there, so I'm just emerging more and more seemingly endless knives out of my too many belts costume, because that's the kind of thief I am. The final skeleton is ended when Barbossa does a caber toss with this tree, and it just crushes it entirely. At which point, Kai Meng the monk uses his Talk to Dead ability to get more information. Why has this caravan been stopped? Who's did it? He has so many questions, including the one that during the battle we've been, heroically shouting, like, what's all going on with these skeletons? And then I'm like, hang on, how do they see? Their eyes have rotted away. So the most pressing question that we ask is, how on earth does a skeleton see without eyes? And the spirit of this deceased person rises from the bones, crushed partially, and says, I have been helped to see everything. And we all realize that whatever dark magic resurrected these undead, it's the Watcher. It's bad news. Kai Meng asked them where they came from and who their master was, and realizing that the place they came from, I think it's called Stonecroft? City names are hard to remember when they're generic. The DM went, hey, what's this city called? And we all went, it's called Bums. And he went, no, it's called Stonecroft or something. So we're calling it Stonecroft from now on. And not only was it made there, its master was Kai Meng's brother, the Black Dragon. Clearly either controlled or joined forces with the evil god Watcher. We were all very not listening to this interchange between the DM and Kai Meng, because at the end of this conversation, Kai Meng was like, right, to Stonecroft, we must defeat the evil brother, uncle, I don't know, to restore my honor. So he starts marching off while leaving some of our friends to tend to the road, fill it in so they can pass. So we just all march off, some of us going, what's going on? We weren't listening. I don't think I need to remind you. Our party is chaotic. After a while of walking, the city comes into view, and we get closer. We see a gigantic wooden reinforced door, huge walls that we're not going to be able to climb over, and a series of tombs outside the walls, which a couple of us go to investigate. But Kai Meng, completely focused on destroying the evil and his nemesis within this town, goes straight to the door. Everyone else manages to find an open crypt, moves in. I notice that traps have been laid before, so I for the first time managed to convince people to just hold on 1 second, you numbskulls, while I check for traps. And I do so, and it's a really simple, like a thick piece of rope just spread across the one entrance It appears to be attached to like a loose formation of rocks in the ceiling. I just saw through this big piece of rope, and it's completely disarmed. Whoever set this was not smart. I realize Kai Meng isn't with us. So I go to find him. Meanwhile, Kai Meng has been standing outside this giant reinforced door made of what the DM called sentry tree wood. Impossible, almost, to destroy. He's just standing there, looking for ways up. He uses his magical rope that he can command to tie knots in itself. It listens to his commands. He throws it up, tries to get that, fails so many rolls to get this rope up there. Gets extremely frustrated, which is the part that I've been wanting to get to, because so often in games, there are doors that we can't open because of poor rolls or because of something the DM is trying to communicate to us that doesn't get through. A challenge that we can't overcome. Frustrating in a game about being a hero. But poor dice rolls or whatever means that we can't get through. And the more we try, it seems kind of redundant to try again at a thing we've already failed at. It establishes itself in the fiction. Like, I've thrown a rope up there. Nothing really worked. It didn't catch on. We couldn't throw it high enough. Whatever. It's not fair on everyone else to just kind of to hammer away at this same roll, at this same problem in the same way. And if you can't think of a way around it, you don't have an ability that you think would work in this situation. You can't see something in the environment or the fiction that would help you. It gets frustrating. And even though these are challenges that our DM set to us with no specific solution in mind, it's still our problem to solve. We're the ones that have to find a way around it. And if you can't go through it and you can't go over it, you've got to go under it, through the tomb. So I go to convince my associate, friend, Kai Meng, to please come with us. Whatever evil is in this town, there's no way in through this door. At which point he punches a massive dent in this door, and I survey the situation and use my ability to look and see what's going on, and decide, yeah, he'd be able to punch through this door. In about a year, maybe? At the rate he's going, certainly, yes. So I decide to use poison on him because I thought it would be funny, and I thought it would help me convince him, because he was dead set. This is his destiny. This is his nemesis, to destroy his brother who is evil, has been consumed by the opposing god of his religion, the Jade. I think his god is the Jade Dragon. I'm going to have to check that with him. Versus the Black Dragon. Two parts of the same whole, kind of a yin-yang thing going on here, I think. But also intensely evil that he must destroy for his honor. And I spend 5 minutes trying to convince him with this, after poisoning him with golden root, which makes him very amicable to me. And at this point, my solution to the impassable door problem is, look, whatever evil is between you right here, this door, and the castle in that town isn't important. You getting as quickly and as directly to your nemesis so you can destroy him is the most important thing, yes? He agrees. So please, for the love of God, get in that tomb. Let's find a way under the walls. Please. Let's just find a way into the sewer system. And finally, after a lot of convincing, he hugs me because I am his new best friend because I poisoned him, and I really need to find a better way of making friends. So, I take him, move him into the tomb, where we find the others fighting some more zombies. Slightly less skeletal, more flesh on their bones, but with massive axes this time. And they were trying to hide and put an ambush, but Bessie, with her ability to call upon her enemies and declare that she is the law, either they run away, do what she says, or fight her, they went in for a fight. And just Maximilian and me, the long-range fighters, and now Kai Meng, sitting at the back going, I guess we're not really needed, as we see these guys roll like 10s on D10s and just smash zombies around the room, and we're like, are we even that useful? I half-heartedly fling a very pointy knife at a zombie, do like 3 damage, and I'm like, at least I'm sort of useful. I'm going to stay back here, though, because zombies. After, obviously, destroying the zombies completely, we all convene in this underground crypt, and everyone was like, Watsarus, you're a bit of a coward. I'm like, yeah? How do you think I've survived this long? So Bessie, whose bond with me is, I will save Watsarus's eternal soul, says, don't worry, I can help you get to the front lines with me. We can teach you to be brave. I'm like, no, you're going to teach me to be stupid. They didn't hear that. They didn't listen. And both the 2 strongest people in the group, Barbossa and Bessie, grab me by the wrists and drag me out to the front. And I'm just like, Kai Meng, friend, Max, help me, as we go further into this crypt. At the end of the tunnel through this crypt, we find what appears to be a slightly less earthy, more brick and designed area of a sewer. And me kind of doing the thing, you know, when kids are in between 2 adults holding their hands and they do the wee hold and like pulling their hands and swinging. That's what I'm doing. I'm like, whatever, might as well enjoy myself. I, with my thieves' eyes, spot a tripwire. I don't know what that does. So everyone just kind of just step over it. Everyone just about makes their stepping over it rolls. And I'll be honest, I can't remember the exact situation in which this happened. Oh, I think it was because Kai Meng asked him to protect me from the other 2. But our owlbear, hopefully I've got a picture of it here for you, our minion Hooch, who is so adorable and so much fun to be around, just the cutest. Ruffling his feathers is fun. He eats lots. He's adorable. Bit dim, though. Very good at protecting people, but kind of dim. We call Hooch to help us get into the sewers, and Hooch is like, oh, okay. And he waddles forward. Oh, he doesn't say it. He's like, ooh, 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 and waddles forward like, yeah, friends. He just waddles and trips, fails his roll, trips over the tripwire and just goes boom. And we all go, no, at the table. Everyone like, no, this is our favourite minion right now. Don't you dare hurt Hooch. And we wait a second. And Hooch gets back up and starts waddling again. I'm like, oh, I guess tripwire. Yeah, okay, it's not the best trap I've ever seen. Let's go. So we make our way through the sewers. Find a way up into a street. We take a look, we take a listen, and everything here is deathly quiet. There's no sign of anyone or anything. And Bessie uses her ability her quest to destroy all of the Watcher's evil magical crystals. She has an unwavering sense of direction to them, given to her by her god of the hearth, Valeria. And she can sense at the center of this town that there is certainly at least one. But as a part of that, asking her god what here is evil, there's a sense that the entire town has been turned to evil. Something's gone wrong here, and her connection to her god is extremely weak. So she goes into a house, seemingly devoid of people. We check a couple of houses, and in every single one, the hearth, the symbol of Valeria, has been cracked and destroyed. Bessie starts bawling her eyes out, declaring enmity against whatever has done this to her symbols, to her goddess. And at this point, I feel it is my duty as someone who's grown close to my companions to help out a little bit. So I grab my new shiny cloak around me. It glistens with ethereal magic. And I look at the hearth. And I go, "Now look here, hearth, you've made my friend very upset. You should be ashamed of yourself. Fix yourself now or face the consequences. You have hurt my friend, so sort yourself out." And a star on my cloak winks out, and I hear a "oh" as the hearth magically pulls itself together, cracks heal, and a fire lights, and a single tear rolls down Bessie's cheek. She thanks me. I'm like, "No problem, I'm just that good." Which was really lucky, because I rolled that with a -1, 2d6 -1. 7 is like a partial success. 10 is a full success. And I got a 7, which I was very, very lucky to get. And that is my cloak's power, to use a completely nonsensical stat to roll and affect the world in whatever way I choose, because that's a brilliant cloak to have. Anyway, I can only use it once for each stat, so that's the charisma one gone. Fortunately, my lowest stat, as you can probably tell with this character, not the most convincing. So, at this point, Bessie's like, "Yes, thank you. We may be able to save ourselves. We may be able to save this town. Go on, do that for the rest of the hearths." I'm like, how big is this town? And also, no, because that was a one-time thing. However, this hope was put on hold, because as we hear a din outside of clattering armor and shields, a wave of skeletons and zombies pours from the top of this town, I guess, through the street towards us as we poke our heads out the door and kind of do a double take. And that is where we finished. So, thank you for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed. If you want to support me telling you stories and thinking about how DMing and situations and being and having fun together as a group works from my personal perspective, support me on Patreon, or subscribe, or like the video, or share it anywhere on a place that you think would be enriched by the presence of a video like this. I don't know, a Reddit that you frequent. I don't know, share my video. That's literally the best way you can help this channel grow. I will be back next week with another story. But until then, mustache.